Hi FlossTube, this is Jordan. Today is March 1st, 2026, and this is FlossTube number 8. Thank you all so much for returning. If you're a returning viewer, if you're a new viewer, welcome, and I hope you enjoy what you see. I do hope that the lighting is a little bit better with this video compared to last time. It is a very rainy and gloomy gray day outside, so all the lighting in here is artificial light from the lights in the room and then lamps and that kind of thing. So we won't have the bright light shining on my face and me trying to counterbalance this way. So hopefully that's better for viewing projects, but it could throw off colors just a little bit. I hope everybody's doing well in this first part of 2026. I know some content creators have been talking about things like how they're not feeling like they should be making videos with everything that's going on in the world. I know things are a bit not where anybody necessarily would have expected us to be at this point in 2026, but I'm hopeful that these videos, when you take some time out to watch them, bring you joy, allow you to kind of relax and take your mind off the things that are going on in this world. I recognize that there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm not oblivious to that, but I'm hopeful that by coming on here, creating a sense of community with these videos, and also just showing you the beauty of the craft of crustage, that you're able to find joy in the uncertain times of right now. That's the only dark part of this video, hopefully, that we'll get into. I just wanted to make a comment on that, so because I know that that's a big thing in the community right now, and there's some people weren't sure exactly how they wanted to handle that and how they wanted to move forward. So that's my thoughts on it. Hopefully that resonates with those of you who are watching the video, and you can enjoy all of the pretty cross stitch that we've got to look at today. All right, first things first, we're gonna look at some finishes. And yes, I do say finishes because I have two. Who am I? And I'm probably gonna have two next time too. Actually, I know I'm gonna have two next time. I can guarantee it. So I shouldn't say that, but I'm going to hold myself accountable. This first one, you probably could guess what it is because I mentioned last time that it was probably going to be finished before this video, is Winter Welcome by Park Harbor Bart. Let me get that close up there. There you go. So yeah, I was working on this one last time with some challenge stitching that I was doing, and I was so close to being done. I was like, you know what? We're just getting the darn thing done. So I included it again in challenges and got it done. So I started this project December 13th of 2021 and finished it on February 8th, 2026. And I did a total of 131 stitches on it just in one day since my last video. I won't show before and after because it's less than 300 stitches, but honestly, it's 131 stitches. So this is what it looks like all done. So good. Yeah, the fabric's definitely showing up a little bit more. Well, actually, yeah, it's showing up a little bit more blue than it is in real life. It's a little bit more purple. Or there's a little bit more of a purple undertone to it than this. But otherwise, and that white on these spots doesn't ghost quite as bad. I apologize for not ironing my finishes. I should have, but I forgot. So I will try to get in the habit of doing that. But yeah, get you nice and close so you can see the stitching there. So basically with the last time, I think I just went in and filled in the scarf and the branches, I think in the nose and the eyes. I think that was the 131 stitches. It might have been a little bit, some of this might have been in there already, but that was most of it. So this was stitched on 28 count Winterberry, I believe is the name of it. It was the kit fabric that was given to us with the Black Needle Society Nice List box in 2021. It's by Fortnite Fabrics, which unfortunately they are no longer dying, so you can't get this. And then I used the called for DMC Etoiles, and then the kit came with Sullivan's threads, so that's what I used. The pattern has DMC on it, but I used the Sullivans that were equivalent, that were included in the kit. So, yay! Another 2021 whip done. I'm so excited. That was our first finish. And yeah, now I can take it out of this. Woo! Take it out of this bag here that I was using from the Nice List box. and probably recycle it because these things are falling apart. So, okay. Finish number 2 is my February monthly mini pillow from Primrose Cottage. Here's the pattern. And the February one, if I can get it to focus, is that one right there, as you could probably have guessed. So, but it's finished, so you don't really necessarily need to look at that picture. So, and this one was a start and a finish because I hadn't started it yet during my last video, even though we were part of the way into February when I filmed that video. Speaking of, for anybody who watched my last video, I did fix the setting, so everything should be right side right. Everything should be there. It shouldn't be backwards this time. All right, so I'm trying to fold this where you won't see any of the other ones. Here's where it is. So cute. Pretty color choices for the pinks and the reds. That is showing up a bit more red in the camera. Like the red of the hearts is not quite that bright. It's definitely more of a pinky red. And of course I'm wearing a yellow sweater today, so that might not be helping the situation either. But I think because of the yellow nature of the lights I'm using in this room, it might not be showing up. I might not be able to get it to show up true to color. That's better, but it's still a little bit... Yeah, that's better. I think it's probably still a little bit more pink than that, but yeah. Very cute colors. And I am stitching this on 32 count Cafe au Lait. Yes, by Fiber on a Whim. And using all of the called for DMC. I did a total of 525 stitches in this project over the course of 6 days. So, super excited that I'm keeping up with this because I had really wanted to try to keep up with 1 pillow a month in order to have them done by July of this year so I could then fully finish them and have them in a little dough bowl or something. And I've been keeping up so far, which is fantastic because normally when I set goals like that, I end up falling off the wayside. And this is in a cute little Farm Fresh produce bag by So Much to Love. And I believe I got this one in the bag of the month club that she used to do. So, very cute. I know it doesn't 100% fit the theme, but it was the closest I had available to me at the time. So that's what we went with. Or I went with. Because nobody else helped me with that decision. Alright. Next up is new starts. And I did have quite a few new starts this month. More than I anticipated. But you know what? That's okay. They're amazing projects, obviously, so they deserve to be started. First off, ooh, sorry, I have a fuzzy on my sweater, is, what was the first February monthly pillow was a new start and a finish, so you've already seen that one. Next was A Study in Nature by the Artsy Housewife. This is a digital pattern, so let me pull up my tablet here. And I had wanted to... I initially wasn't that intrigued by this series. I do like what the Artsy Housewife designs, but not all of her stuff is exactly my vibe. As you can see by the Primrose Cottage that I stitched, like I do like brighter colors than what she uses a lot of times. But I've always been intrigued by her moth series because they are quite beautiful and I love her color choices and things like that. And then one of the Black Needle Society boxes recently had a pattern in there from her called A Study in Persimmon. And I thought that moth was really pretty. Plus, I think I mentioned this in my last video. I do have a inside joke kind of personal association with persimmons. And so I thought it would be fun to stitch that pattern to remind myself of the friend that association is with. But I had a friend who had A Study in Nature all kitted, wanted to start it. And I said, hey, I'll start that one with you too. And so she actually went halvesies with me and split her fabric and floss with me, so I didn't have to buy a whole skein of everything. And yeah, so I'm gonna see if I can there we go. I was like, maybe I can make this bigger so you can't see the pattern. So yeah, so this is A Study in Nature by the Artsy Housewife. So pretty with and my husband's favorite color is red, so he loves the fabric on this pattern, which is fantastic. There we go. Okay. So nope, I don't have my card out yet. Let me grab my card that I make for these things. So I started this on the 10th of February as a part of Stitch the Winter Olympics. And I will get into the prompts and all of that stuff later. I'm just going to go over the start information for now, and then I'll get into the challenge stuff later. But I am stitching this with the on the called for fabric, so 40 count Aztec red linen by Weeks Dye Works, and all of the called for dinky dyes. So this is where I got to. So I did, yeah, that's blowing. The red is a little bit more orange than that, than it's showing in the viewfinder, I feel like. Yeah, it's showing it more like red. But otherwise the color, I think the colors of the floss are accurate. But yeah, I think the fabric is a little bit more orange in real life, but otherwise pretty close. Yeah, that's better. So yeah, I basically just got the upper motif done with the flowers and the leaves and stuff like that. So that's where we're at with this one. It's very, very pretty. And it's on 40 count, so I'm using one strand of floss over 2 linen threads. And I have discovered I do really enjoy stitching my projects that are one-stranded in hand. So I am using the sewing method when I stitch with this. Shout out to the Jessicas for teaching me how to do the sewing method correctly and encouraging me to do that. Also, I totally forgot to mention, I was encouraged to stitch, or I'm working on this project, or started this project with my friend Sarah from the Redneck Bifocal Stitcher. If you have not checked out her FlossTube channel, you should go check it out. She has a lot of beautiful projects and is very, and loves cross stitch, so you should go check her out. I am stitching this, or I'm keeping this in a bag that my friend Jessica Oler made. She doesn't currently have a shop yet. She's hoping to eventually put her stuff either on Instagram or on Etsy. So as soon as I know that information, I will let you know. But such a cute bag. I know it doesn't 100% fit the vibe, but it was the closest I had. So, and I just really wanted something, and I wanted a project in this bag. So, and it worked because I met those two ladies through the same group. So I felt like it was fitting. All right, moving on before I blather on about unimportant things. Next new start is called Bold Coffee. I am going to insert a picture of this pattern in the video, so hopefully somewhere up in here. Maybe, yeah, probably over here. So I will insert a picture just because the one picture I have of it is on my phone, which is what I'm recording on right now. It came out in the spring 2026 issue, or so the current issue of Just Cross Stitch magazine. The pattern is called Bold Coffee, and it is by the Cozy Cabin Stitching. You've probably seen it if you follow me on Instagram. I posted about it during the Winter Olympics stitching because that's what I started this for. Or well, no, that's not true. I used it for some of the prompts because I had recently started it because, again, the Jessicas saw the pattern. Well, initially my friend Jessica Allison saw it and immediately thought of me and was like, we need to start this. And my other friend Jessica was like, I want to join in. So the 3 of us started it together. There we go. That's the story. So I started this on February 6th of this year. And I am stitching this on 40 count lightly salted, not roasted linen by Be Stitch Me. And I am using Classic Colorworks Cocoa Bean. So I will pull this out. Oh, and I have a needle in this project. I didn't know I left it in this state, so my apologies, but I'm just going to leave it because I have a feeling it was marking something and I don't want to take it out until I know what it was marking. But that is how far I got. Whoa, and yeah, that light is definitely blowing that out. Let's see, do I get it closer? The tone is right. There we go, that's better. I was like, that white patch up there was not accurate. But yeah, it is more of a peachy brown for sure. And then that's the stitching. So this is all just the border on that left side of the pattern. my thought was, I have multiple skeins of cocoa bean, but because of, it is slightly variegated, I don't know if it's gonna show up on camera super well, but especially with the fact that, yeah, this lighting keeps kind of changing with what I put up here. You can kind of see it. So I have 3 skeins of this that I pulled. I should not need all 3 of them, but my thought process was with each 6-stranded or set of 6 strands, I would kind of stitch the same motifs. So I was going to stitch the border down with that 6 strands so that the variegation is not cohesive, but like you don't have like major jars in the variegation in case there's a spot that is like way different on a strand than another. And then when I get to another 6 strand, which I think once I finish that strand of floss that's on my needle, I will be on the next set of 6. I will move over and start to do the border across the top and like the motifs in there. So that's my thought process. I don't know if it makes any sense, but that's my thought process. So, and yeah, I believe the pattern just calls for it to be on like a neutral Zweigart Ada with a DMC color. So you can like feel free to pull your own fabric and floss. And I think Jessica Allison, who is down Allison Road on Instagram, she is actually stitching hers, I think, in 2 different colors. So I don't remember exactly how she's laying them out, but I think the coffee beans across the top, she's alternating. And then there are certain motifs that she's doing in one color and other motifs she's doing in a different color. So you can definitely play around with it since it's a monochromatic piece and do what you want. All right. I realized I didn't tell you that. Oh, I totally forgot to tell you my numbers on Study in Nature too. I swear, I'll eventually get this down. So a bold coffee I worked on for 2 days and stitched 326 stitches in that one. A Study in Nature I also worked on for 2 days and I stitched 548 stitches and I'm at 4.52% because I was able to get that one in Pattern Keeper. For bold coffee, I'm using the Libby app to stitch from it, so there's no way for me to really get it in Pattern Keeper. So that's why I don't have a percentage. Okay. Last new start is Whatever You Do by Sweet Wing Studio. I'm also going to insert a picture here of that one because it's a digital pattern, and because of the way that she does her digital patterns, I can't just click like the view PDF version on Pattern Keeper because that will just show me the pattern. It won't actually show me the cover photo. So I will insert a picture of that one here so you guys can see what that looks like. That is a part of her scripture series, I believe from 2024. That might be wrong, but I know it's on Etsy and you can actually buy it as a full, you can buy the chart individually or you can buy it as a full bundle with all of the charts from that series in one set, which is what I did when I bought it. So I started, there we go. I was like, what was I saying? Started this project on Valentine's Day. So the 14th. And I'm actually using the, I just realized I filled out my card wrong. Called for fabric, which is Picture This plus Tycho. I'm stitching it on 32 count. I can't remember if that's what's called for or not. And I'm using all of the called for DMC and overdyes with the exception of one, because she does call for a Weeks Dye Works. So I am substituting that, which I will go through that in just a moment. But this is where I got to. Ooh, let's try that again. There's a fold right there, which is making this a little bit more difficult to show you. There we go. And yeah, and that coloring, yeah, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. It might be a smidgen more yellow than what it's showing up, but otherwise it's fine. And don't panic about the drink part down here, the DRIN, which I didn't finish yet. That will be, there's going to be a box of stitching around it, which you'll have seen in the cover photo. But yeah, so when I started up here in the So Weather, and then I actually went over and just color completed this part, because these are the edges of the utensils, and that color is only used in the edges of the utensils, and that's it. And then I was like, let's see if I can color complete anywhere else, and then realized it's not that easy because a lot of the rest of the colors are used kind of throughout. So I'm basically just looking at whichever color has the least amount of stitches And then can I get to that any of that easily? If I can, I'll do that, and then I'll reevaluate once I'm done with that section. So yeah, that's that one. I stitched on that for 2 days and did 336 stitches, and I'm now at, it says I'm at 7.58%. That is technically not necessarily accurate because the number, or it's actually missing, how do I want to say this? Oh yeah, so when the pattern imported into Pattern Keeper, the black and white section, for whatever reason, is missing a couple of rows at the top. So some of these stitches up here are not in that, are not included in that percentage. So it's not 100% accurate. And then, and also that means that the total number of stitches is wrong. So it's throwing off the percentage, but it's fine. So, and these are the called for flosses. I realized I didn't pull out my Study in Nature flosses, but those are in floss away bags, so they're not as easy to see. Those that were graciously and kindly provided to me by my friend Sarah. So these are going to be the colors. The only one that's not in here, because I wasn't thinking about it when I took it out, is the, oh, good gravy. Will you just lay where everybody can see everything? Oh, let's put those this way. There we go. That's better. Is the 535, the DMC, which was the outline of the utensils. There we go. And then the substitution I'm making is, it called for Weeks Dye Works Dirt Road, but I am using Classic Colorworks Fool's Gold instead. So yeah, that's that one. Okay, and that's the end of all the new starts. Oh, before I move on though, this is in a beautiful bag from Judy's Bags and More on Facebook. So I want to show you that. And I will link her Facebook page below so that you can go and purchase one of her amazing bags. I felt like this was very fitting for this pattern. Okie doke. So, done with the new starts. Now we're going to move into whips, and I've tried to break this down again by challenges. So the first and primary challenge that I worked on in February was Stitch the Winter Olympics, which was hosted by Katie of the Naptime Stitcher. She posted, I believe she definitely has an Instagram account. I don't remember if she has a FlossTube channel. I don't believe she does. And she also runs an Etsy shop, which I've talked about on here before. So she does this every Olympics. So every 2 years, she will design a packet of document goodies, which are fantastic, that you can read a little bit about the Olympics. And then she has a sheet where you can write down all of the projects you're going to use with their various prompts. She has a calendar. I think there was a word search in there, project cards. There's a bunch of different stuff in there. And that was all free from her Instagram account, which was amazing. Thank you, Katie, for organizing this every time. I love this challenge. So I've used Bold Coffee, A Study in Nature, and Whatever You Do in that challenge. So Bold Coffee I used as a project that was a new start in 2026, and a project that you were encouraged to stitch on by friends, because I had 2 friends encourage me to start that project. A Study in Nature was a project that contained an animal. Whatever You Do I used for a favorite designer. So those were the prompts that I used for those projects. Now, because I wanted to try to use as few projects as possible, because I didn't want to have to show you a bunch of projects, and I wanted to be able to do a more significant amount of stitching on each project, I used a lot of projects for multiple prompts if I could. So I'm going to go through these by project and not by prompt, because otherwise I'm going to be pulling things back and forth. So the next one I'm going to talk to you about is Patriotic Barns, which I know you guys have seen this pattern before. Okay, great. I didn't necessarily want to pull these out of their plastic bags if I didn't have to, and the glare is not bad. So yeah, Patriotic Barn Trio. Pardon me. I shortened the name in my notes. So, and I am working on the Liberty Barn right here. All right. Now, this one, I did do a significant amount of stitching in it, so you will get a before and after. So here's where it was before, while I get it pulled out. And here's where it is now. Probably should have double checked what that looked like before I put it on the board, but there you go. All right, I'll get my face out of the way so you can get a nice up close look at it. The close up is definitely washing out that fabric a little bit. The floss colors look pretty good, but the fabric is definitely wrong. That's better. Yeah, it's definitely more of a, it's got a little bit more of a warmer tone than what I was showing you before. So I did 654 stitches on this project over the course of 3 days. And I use this for Stitch on a Project with the colors of the nation of your choice, because it's for the United States. A thing that has a border or a row of something. This clearly has a border. And then I believe something with, yeah, a house or a building, because it has a barn on it. So that's what I stitched this for, or used this for. I love this series so much. I don't know what it is about this series. I don't know if it's the fact that it's on 28 count, and sometimes I like a break to stitch on 28 count, or if it's, yeah, the fact that I'm doing color conversions and I'm loving my color conversions. I have no idea, but I'm really loving stitching on this series just in general. So this was a lot of fun, and I did not really want to put it away, but I needed to in order to work on other stuff. So, and I am stitching this on a 28 count linen. It's an unnamed fabric that I believe I got on a Friday night fight night from Bestitch Me, with all of the called for classic colorworks, and then I am doing my own conversion for the week style works that are called for. I believe I've talked about that either when I started this project, or I might have even gone over it in my last video. If you're interested, just let me know and I will respond to your comment below. But yeah, that's that one. Okay. All right. Next up, we have Let's Talk Winter, which I am primarily using this project because it's what's called for Great British Baking Show. But since I'm double dipping as much as possible, it fit quite a few of the prompts, so I'm using it for Stitch Winter Olympics too. I realized I didn't pull this out to show you the chart. So this is what it's going to look like. I am currently working on the big framed piece there. I will eventually come back and do these little rounds later, but not until I get all these done. All right. And this one I've done a significant amount of work in, so here's where it was before. Yeah. Load this up on my board while y'all look at it. All right. And here's where it is now. I'm so stinking close to being done with this project. So, I'm going to talk to you about my plans later. My plans may change. Let me get this close, just because I am so close that I don't want to put this project away with such little stitching left on it. So, I'll pull you back again so you can get the full view. So, I've basically, since the last time, I'm pretty sure I've gone in and done all of this snow globe, warm fires, and I put in all of this stuff, and then all of the little Smyrna crosses that you see I've come in and done. And I've also put in these little red stitches where it says snow day. I think they were supposed to mimic Rudolph's nose, even though Rudolph's not really mentioned on here. Oh, and I did blizzard. I know I did all of that. So I did a total of 1,975 stitches over the course of 8 days. And I used this for a project that was winter, something that was part of a series, and something that had letters or numbers, and that I was stitching towards a goal, because I do have a goal amount of stitches for this project for Great British Baking Show. So that is what I did on this one. All I have left is there's a line of green, I believe, that goes underneath the snow globe words here. There's a snowflake that goes in here, and then a section that says cozy quilts, and then some quilts down here, and then I'm done. So I think I'm really going to just stitch on this until it's done, and then I'll see where we're at and go from there. So this is stitched with the called for DMC on a 32 count slate linen by Fabrics by Stephanie. I can tell you in this lighting, yeah, the camera is pulling that modeling and making it way more exaggerated than it is. It's not it is somewhat intense, but it's not that intense. Like you can definitely tell there are splotches of change over there on the fabric, but it's not that stark. So, and this fabric, and even though it's a dark fabric, it's not a hard fabric for me to stitch on as long as I have my stitchy light. So don't be intimidated by using this fabric if you're worried about that. And I don't have great eyesight. I have contacts in, so you're fooled into thinking I have good eyesight. So, yeah, and I think in total for Great British Baking Show, I'm at a little over 3,200 stitches, and I need 3,800. I don't even think I'll get to 3,800 before I finish that, so based on what I have left. Okay, next is Witchy Way by Primrose Cottage stitches. That's what that'll look like when it's done. I pulled this out for Stitch the Winter Olympics because one of the prompts was stitch on something that is Halloween or fall themed because of Skeleton, which is one of the Winter Olympic events. I didn't do that much stitching on this, so that you're not going to get a before picture because there wasn't a ton done. This one's small enough. I think I'm just going to fold up the fabric here. So this is where we are at now with this project. So I went in and I finished this row of gray. If this wasn't finished, no, actually I think I had finished that last time because I think I told you about the discussion I had with my friends. So I basically just went in, yeah, I went in and color completed. So I'm pretty sure that light purple that's in there, that's all done, which is why you see like a random line over here. But I wanted to try to color complete so I could, because I like doing that, and I wanted to see if I could put the DMC back in my stash. And I believe the orange is also done. So those two colors are finished. So I just have more black. There's a dark purple, a yellow, and a light, and a darker gray. That's all I have left. There we go. And that is more true to color with the fabric. This fabric is pretty intensely modeled, so that modeling is actually fairly accurate, which is part of the reason why I love this fabric for this project. And this, speaking of that, is a 28 count linen in Storm Clouds by Mountain Air Fibers? Mountain Air hand-dyed fabrics. So, very pretty. This one is close enough to a finish that I'm going to try desperately to not have it carry over into 2027. We shall see. But I really hope I don't. Oh, and I did not mention that with my Let's Talk Winter, but this, you've seen this before though. This is in a Love You More Studio book sleeve. And I did 212 stitches on this one. I also did some secret stitching for Stitch the Winter Olympics because that pattern fits a lot of prompts for, or I should say it worked for a lot of the prompts in Stitch the Winter Olympics, so I used it. I'm also trying to get that project done before the end of the year, especially since that project is for a friend of mine who is actively pregnant with her second child, and I still don't have the birth stitch for her first kid done. So I'm really trying to get that done so I can go and get it framed and get started on the next one. So neither child is like 2 before they get their birth stitch. All right. Now, before we talk, since I'm using that project for Threadwalker Saga, I am going to talk about Threadwalker Saga, but before I do that, I am going to talk about my WIP birthdays that I had this month, which is actually only one, and that is Valentine House Trio by Waxing Moon Designs. Again, I love this series, and I don't really know why, because it's not even that it's a house. Like, the building is not even I haven't even stitched the barn yet on the Patriotic barns, but for some reason I love it. I am working on the beloved house down here. And in this pattern, I'm going to stitch this one, then the Valentine, then this one. In the Patriotic barns, I'm stitching the red, white, and blue, whichever. I think it's red, white, and blue, or red, white, and blue, whatever, but I'm stitching them in that order. So I only did 150 stitches on this one. Yes, 150 stitches on this one. So there's not going to be a before and after. And this one, I think I can actually contain this fabric decently well. So this is where we're at with this one. I'll get you close so you can see it, but that is not true to color with that fabric. It's whole. That's better. Yeah, it's not, it's kind of washing it out a little bit. It's not quite that. There, that's better. Yeah, it keeps wanting to put like bright spots up here for some reason. But yeah, that's better on the color. So on this project, I went in and I finished this border. So this border around here is all done. And then I think I went in and I also filled in, yeah, I think I filled in some, yes, I filled in some more on the house. That's what I did on that one. And that was pretty much it because I didn't spend a whole lot of time on this one. This is on, I believe, yeah, 28 count Mocha Linen by Stitch Me, and I am using all of the called for overdyes, but I think I do have, and I definitely have some substitutions, which I thought I had written on the back of this card, but apparently I haven't. So if you want that conversion, let me know, because it's a mixture of, I think, Forbidden Fiber Co. and Classic Colorworks. And there might be one other dyer in there that I can't think of off the top of my head. And I have those in a little notions pouch in here, and I don't want to bore you all with trying to get those out. So, do I have it written on here? Nope, I don't. And this is in another So Much to Love bag, little Valentine's bag. Very cute. I love her bags. They're structured, but not so structured that they're like super duper stiff, which is great. Okay. That is all of the whips. So in regards to other challenges that I did still have my Facebook Messenger group of friends that are doing some challenge stitching. I pretty much worked all of those projects into that, so I don't have any separate whips to talk to you about with that. And then I'm using Let's Talk Winter for Great British Baking Show stitching, so those two challenges are covered. So next up is my Threadwalker Saga secret stitching. So I got to the point, let me find my sheet here, that I have actually completed the first row of leveling up, and I battled my first monster, and I think I actually rolled, oh, I didn't write it down. I don't remember exactly what I rolled, but I rolled above an 8, which is what you need in order to battle the monster and defeat it, so I didn't have to stitch any extra stitches. So now the next time I stitch, I'll need to stitch 200 stitches in order to level up. And then I've got some monsters that I'll encounter. I have a tangled thread I'll have to encounter, and then a new start that's trying to distract me before I hit my next monster over there. And this challenge, there we go. I was like, what is the word I'm looking for with this? This challenge is hosted by Steph over at Wild Fox Stitchery. And I will link her Facebook account below. Oh, I was like, what's happening here? Getting my pages all mixed up. Yeah, I will list her Facebook account below, and that is where you can get access to the files that she made for this challenge. And I will link her video where she talks about this also below. If I don't and you want it, let me know and I'll get it for you. All right, so that's that challenge. And then the next challenge that I'm doing is the RPG character challenge, which was developed by Michael of Uplift Stitches. So, and Michael, thank you so much for your amazing comment on my last video. It was really nice to see that you actually, like, you saw my video and that I'm doing it correctly, because I was questioning that. And that you're excited to see everybody who's working on it. So that was really cool. And I was like, eek, a little bit that somebody from another FlossTube channel that I watch actually watched my video. So that was really cool. Okay, so in February, we were working on figuring out which class our character would be based on the number of stitches we did. So I will show you my breakdown here. So yes, if you see that top line, that's where you put in your point or the number of stitches you did for stitch alongs. So all of my stitching for Stitch the Winter Olympics went up there. And then you have challenge stitching, so anything like Great British Baking Show stitching that I've done since the Stitch the Winter Olympics was over, that went in there. And then any district or Facebook Messenger group stitching that I did that wasn't a part of Stitch the Winter Olympics, that went in there too. Then we have in-season stitching, so my winter projects, basically, and yeah, it was basically anything winter. And no, I didn't include Christmas. And Valentine's, there we go. I was like, there's something important that I'm missing. So winter and Valentine's Day stitching went in there. And then out of season, so basically anything that didn't fit that was a seasonal thing went in there. And then I didn't work on my oldest whip, so I don't get any points there. And then I didn't have anything barely started because the 4 starts I had, I either finished them or I made sure that I put more than 300 stitches in them so that I wouldn't have any penalties for that. I did have 4 new starts, but then I had 2 finishes. I had wanted to try to FFO a project before today or before the end of the month, but I just didn't get around to it. So hopefully that'll happen. I don't know. This next month's going to be busy too. So it might not happen until April. We'll see. But that's a gift stitch, so I really do want to get that fully finished. So I ended up with a total of 305 points for the month, if I'm reading that correctly backwards. Yes, okay. So then I went over and put that in for February. So you'll see that in the upper corner here. And then that spit out that my elf is a Bard, which I'm glad that happened because I had updated my numbers without my stitching from the 28th just to see, so I would have them in there because that's when I was doing all the planning for this video. And I would just add in my number of stitches that I did because I think it was Let's Talk Winter. So I just updated those numbers in the chart, and it was initially saying I was going to be a barbarian, and I'm like, I don't know, can elves be barbarians? Like, how does that work? So I feel like a bard is much more fitting for an elf, at least of what I know of elves, but what do I know? So far my RPG character is an elf and a bard, which is funny because I'm also a bard for the Threadworker Saga challenge. Granted, I think I picked bard because it was the first one on the list, I believe, but also, yeah, it's a person who sings and I enjoy singing, so it felt fitting that should be my first one. So it's just funny that those 2 things are lining up right now. Okay, that's the end of the stitching. Yes, for sure. Oh, and you know what? I think I did this backwards again. I wrote this in my plans, or in my notes backwards, forgetting that I like to talk about plans next, so that in case you don't want to stick around for haul or stash acquisition and life updates, you don't have to listen to that. So, plans for me, I am definitely going to keep going with my Great British Baking Show stitching and my Facebook Messenger stitching, so that way I can finish Great British Baking Show before the next season starts in September. And also my friends are continuing to do the challenge stitching in my messenger group. I'm considering doing March Madness, which I know today's March 1st, and I have not done any March Madness stitching. I did make my bracket, which, pardon my terrible handwriting, but it's just the truth of the matter. But I really want to get Let's Talk Winter done. It's not on my bracket or actually that's not true. It is on my bracket, but it's on my bracket later. But I'm just really in the mood to finish that project. So I think I might just finish that project and then we'll see where we're at. The other thing too is I have and this will come up in life updates in a minute. 2 weekends this month that I'm not going to be here. Don't worry, I'll show you the cat in a second. And so I'm not really sure how well I would be able to actually do March Madness. I know I could technically space it out and fit it in whenever it was convenient, but I don't know that that's going to be very fun for me. And I also don't want to lug all those projects with me, especially for the first weekend I'm going to be gone, because I'm not probably going to get a ton of stitching time that weekend anyway, which is this upcoming weekend. So I think I'm just going to stick with Let's Talk Winter and finish it, and then I'll kind of go from there. So And that way, and who knows, maybe I can power through and get it done tonight, and then I can start the next Great British Baking Show challenge and then see where that leads. So those are my tentative plans, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, and before she hops down, here's my other cat. This is Steel. Steel, can you say hi to the people? She's like, nope. She's like, what are you doing to me, mother? They don't mind being held, but she wasn't necessarily expecting it. She is our tortoise kitty. This is Tonks' sister. My husband named her. It's based off of a meme on a YouTube video, Kilogram of Steel. If you're younger than me, you may know what the heck that means. He explained it to me once, but I've already forgotten what it means. So, but yeah, she's very much a lovey-dovey kitten. And likes attention. She doesn't normally usually let me hold her like this, though. Most of the time, she just wants to sit in my lap. But, apparently, since I'm holding her to show her to you all, she's okay with it. Usually her sister is the one that lets me hold her like this. So, next up is Stash Acquisitions, as I like to call it here on this channel. I am going to start with some stitchy kindness that I got, though, because I was fortunate enough to win a giveaway from the lovely Abby at Mountain Mama Stitches. And so she sent this cute little note with my name on it. And then the main part of the giveaway was a scissor fob that she had made. Find it. Oh, let me take it out of the Floss Away bag. I left it in here for safekeeping, so I didn't break it and my cats didn't mess with it. But it's this cute little scissor fob. Has an owl on it with these beautiful green beads. So I'm very excited to go put that on my scissors now. And she put it in the Floss Away bag, so I have a Floss Away bag I can use now. And then she also sent some other little goodies that were not a part of the giveaway, which was super nice. And I really appreciate that. It's very kind of you, Abby. She sent a little heart waxer. Just some wax to condition your threads with. And then a couple little keychain, or sorry, not keychain items. One of them is a keychain heart that you can stitch on. So it's a wooden heart that has holes in it that you can stitch on like Ada or like perforated paper. And I have done that before when my husband and I went on our honeymoon. We did an Alaskan cruise, and they actually had a cross-stitch class that you could go to and sign up for. And so I stitched a little heart on a piece of wood that is on a chain. And then she also sent this little wooden bobbin that has snowflakes. That's what those are called. Snowflakes at the top. And a little hole. So if you wanted to put it on a ring, you could. So thank you, Abby. That was super nice. And definitely not expected when I got my scissor fob. Now granted, she did email me and tell me that she was going to put extras in there. So I knew the extras were coming, but it was still very, very kind. And I really appreciate that. I probably don't actually need to put all that back in there, so let's not try, because it doesn't want to go back in there very well. Okay, and then next up, I don't remember if I showed you all this pattern. I've actually, sorry, my cat is rubbing her face on the ring light, so she's bouncing the camera. And now she's stretching all over everything. I got this one, my friend Sarah brought me my stuff for a study in nature. But I don't think I ever showed you guys this pattern. So she brought me Stay Cozy by Sweet Wing Studio. She had purchased this for me because it wasn't exclusive to her local needlework shop. It's now out for general release, and I think you can get it on her website. And you can there are still shops that sell it as a paper pattern. But I thought this was really cute and fall vibes, and it has coffee and books and all the things on it. So yeah. So I will be stitching this up at some point. Yeah, it even calls for Espresso Bean Original Arts, so how can I not stitch it, right? I'm trying to think. Oh, it is Georgia. It's not a coffee-themed fabric, but so yeah. In case if I had already shown that, then sorry, but I didn't think I had, so I wanted to do that. And then I realized that this other pattern was in amongst some other things that I bought for fully finishing that project I want to fully finish, but I never actually pulled the pattern out to show you guys in my last video. I went shopping with a friend of mine to one of the fabric stores here because she quilts and cross stitches. And this store sells mainly quilting fabric and like quilting supplies, but does have a smaller cross stitch section. And they had a coupon for January that included a discount on cross stitch stuff. So I bought this pattern, Sea Glass Sampler. I believe it's from Cora's Quilts by Shelley Cavanagh. So I do believe it is based on a quilt design. Kind of like what Lori Holt does with some of her quilts at the Fat Quarter Shop sells. Love these colors, and I do really like those motifs. I feel like I probably... Yeah, yep, there we go. It even says on the back that it was this cross-stitch design was inspired by Shelley's Sea Glass Cottage quilt. And that is a picture of the quilt there. So yeah, beautiful colors. I'm pretty sure it all is, yeah, it's all DMC. So I will put this in my stash, and once I get flea market flowers done, maybe I can consider doing this, because I have a feeling this is about the same size. It's 161 by 177, so this ain't a small project. And I'm really trying not to start any more big projects right now until I get some of my big projects finished. Okay, and then I think the next thing that came in was actually, oh, and I meant to pull this up on my tablet. So let me pull this up while I'm talking about it. I got my February shipment from Heartland Quilting for this Sweet Wing Studio series. But this is the second pattern in the series called Enjoy the Quiet Moments, which I think is awesome. So yeah, I will definitely start this series at some point. I'm just waiting to collect them all, and I'm going to kind of do what I'm doing with the scripture series. I'm going to stitch on them, not necessarily in the order that they were released, but in the order that I like, the order that I rank them as. Like, I like this one. I'm sure I'm going to like all of them, just like I like all of the scripture series, but there are definitely ones that I like more, or like that are higher on my list. So I just put them in a list. And then I'm going to stitch them in that order. And so that's what I'll do once all of these are released. I will put them in an order of which one I like the most, which one is the least tickling my fancy, but still very much enjoyed. And then I'll do that. So this I'm going to show you is the fabric. This is 32 count Atomic Ranch linen in the color Vanilla Cream. And I'm pretty confident. We got these pretty early in the month, so I'm pretty sure everybody should have theirs by now. It's definitely blowing it out just a smidgen. It's a little bit more, it's a little darker than what you're seeing. The tone is pretty close. I wonder if I put this behind it, if that will help at all, or if it's just going to make it look more white. It might just blow it out more, honestly. Yeah, it's not really helping. Okay. Yeah, it's still definitely on the whiter, like a whitish fabric, but it has a yellow undertone to it. So it's not quite this bright white. This is what it's looking in the camera. But it doesn't help that I'm wearing a yellow sweater. So, but very beautiful linen. Just a touch of modeling, which is great. So I'm excited to get those started. Okay. I'm keeping them all in their little paper baggies until I'm ready. Okay. And then these next two things I think I ordered at the same time, so I'm just going to open, or around the same time, so I'm just going to open what's in front of me. So I saw on Color and Cotton's social media page, their Instagram page. I mean, it is a form of social media, but I can be more specific. Their Instagram page saying that they had posted mystery grab bags of floss. And I love Color and Cotton floss. So I went and immediately got on their website and bought one. The grab bag was 10 skeins. I almost considered buying two, but then I was like, no, you need to save your stitching money, which I will talk about here in a minute. But, so yeah, you didn't know what you were getting. I will say, I think the ladies over at Color and Cotton must know stuff about me that I didn't think that they knew about me, because they sent me a bunch of green and blues and purples, which are my favorites. So I absolutely love all of these colors. And I'm pretty sure blue is like the color of Color and Cotton, that color family that I have the most of. So now I get to add even more to my collection. And I will tell you, some of these I know are definitely old, because like this, what is it? Lapis. I'm not going to go through all of these, but they have one that's called Lapis Lazuli. Yeah, this one here. And it's on like an old school tag that they don't even use anymore. Like, let me see if I can get it out and show it to you. Yeah, this is on like the old school single hole tags that they don't use those anymore. So, but it's a very beautiful like blue variegated floss. So, and I know I have a few of these colors already, but I really don't care. And some of these are also special editions. Like the lemon lime that I got is a special edition floss, which I don't think I have. So that'll be cool to have that one in my stash, because the special editions you usually can't, once they're out, they're gone. So you can't always get those. So that's kind of cool to have that one in my stash. Okay, last bit of stash acquisition. I had put on a notify me thing for a Mill Hill kit on 123 Stitch, and I got a notification that Mill Hill kit had come back in stock. So I went over there, and I told myself, you cannot let a Mill Hill kit come by itself, especially because you're paying $4 in shipping, which is not bad. Like, I'm not complaining about the shipping price, but since I'm going to be paying for shipping, I might as well get multiple things to make that shipping worth it, right? Because it's a flat rate from 123 Stitch. So that's what I did. So I got this. Oh, I should have said, oh, well, it's fine. I know this is going to be a gift for my husband. I didn't tell him about it. I don't necessarily care if he knows about it. And even if he does find out about it from watching this video, he might forget. And if he doesn't, oh well. But his favorite food to eat is pizza. So pizza and chicken nuggets. And I don't know that they make a chicken nugget Mill Hill. I should look, honestly. I knew they made this one. I did not look to see if they make a chicken nugget. If anybody knows if they make a chicken nugget one, let me know, because I will also buy that and stitch it for him. But this is going to be a gift for him. This one is a magnet, so it'll become a magnet on the fridge, most likely. And it comes with everything you need. So it comes with a perforated, this one still has perforated paper in it. I know that some of them, or I think some of the newer kits are coming with perforated PVC, but this one is perforated paper still, it looks like. And then it comes with all the beads, the little treasure that you need, all the floss, and it comes with both a normal stitching needle and a beading needle, it looks like. So, and then I guess it also shows some of the other things that were a part of the Autumn Harvest collection there. So yeah, so I will get this started for him. I might start it on our anniversary. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided when I'm going to start it. I probably will start it on our anniversary and get that done for him. But yeah, so I bought that. And then since it couldn't travel by itself, I bought Quackstack by Plum Street Studios. I'm not doing all of these animals. There are some that, it's not that I didn't like them, they just weren't as exciting for me. So I'm only buying the ones that I really want to stitch. There we go. And this one I initially was not planning on stitching, but then I had some friends from my Camp BNS table that started this because of the fact that like our group is called the Original Lucky Ducks. So they started that and I was like, oh, well then I need to add that to my list to eventually start. So I did that. And then I also bought Acorns and Friends by Lola Crow. This used to be an exclusive to, I believe, Acorns and Threads in Oregon, but it has since been released to everybody, and so I bought this one. I love Lola Crow designs in the sense of like I love the way that she uses color, and I think her design capabilities are amazing. I just haven't really found one that was my style that wasn't also massive. And I was like, I can't start any new massive projects right now. But this one is very much like cute woodland animals, cross-stitching, using coops and all the things, and then cute little red cat mushrooms. And so this one was very much like, I'm down for this. So I picked that one up as well. Almost forgot. That was not the last bit of haul. That was the last bit of physical stash acquisition that you could see in my hands. But then I also purchased the Hello, like the Hello Seasons series from Erin Elizabeth. I've had my eye on these patterns for a while, but has never pulled the trigger. And then because of some plans I have in March, I bought these. Finally, I pulled the trigger on them. Oh, let's get that to roll back over. There we go. So this is Hello Spring. It's called Hello Spring again because I think she had initially designed a spring pattern and then doesn't appear to have does not appear to have designed any more that looked like that one. And so this is the spring pattern. And then this is the summer pattern. Just gotta blow it up a little bit because otherwise you can see the chart, the way that Pattern Keeper's pulling up this PDF. And Hello Autumn. And last but not least, Hello Winter, which is this one. Oh, almost forgot. This one. Sorry for the reflection, but hopefully you get the gist. Okay, that is officially all the stash acquisition. Okay, looking at my notes, we are down to life updates. So we had Valentine's Day. My husband and I went to the restaurant where we actually had our first date, which was a lot of fun. We did their 5-course meal that you can get a reservation for, and it was good. I don't know that we're gonna do it again. It was like the food was all tasty for me. The thing is, he has a more limited palate than I do, so some of the things on the menu he wasn't super excited about. And then the main entree and the pasta that they served just weren't my favorite. They weren't what I was necessarily expecting. So we'll probably try something different. And we probably won't necessarily do a fancy dinner every Valentine's Day. I just wanted to try it because I wanted to go back to the place that we went on our first date because we haven't actually been back there since then. And I saw that they were doing that, so I wanted to try it out. So we may go back there for Valentine's Day in the future, but just not do the 5-course meal because you can still eat there even when they're doing that because it's in a separate dining area. So yeah, it was good, but we'll probably go do something different next year. We also went to another Mavericks game with my side of the family because they have a military appreciation day in February. So we went and did that, which was a lot of fun. Seeing my nephew watch hockey is so much fun because he loves it. And he's getting better and better at skating every single time I watch him, which we actually went and watched his practice. They do like a learn how to play hockey free skate like lesson thing at one of the ice rinks. It's a community. It's hosted or it's funded by the County Parks and Rec. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Where my sister and my brother-in-law live. And so he has that every Friday. And so we go and watch him every once in a while. And so yeah, he's getting super fast at skating. It's crazy. And it's so funny because like hockey was not a thing that we grew up watching or having any interest in. And so now as an adult getting into hockey because my dad likes to watch our minor league team here in Kansas City, and now my nephew likes playing it. It's nuts. Didn't see that one coming. Didn't have that on my bingo card, let's put it that way. As we like to say nowadays. We also hosted a game night here at my house, which is my husband's kind of thing. Every month we host a game night here at our house in order to fellowship with friends and people from our church, and it was a lot of fun. We had some new people come who hadn't come before, so that was really exciting they were people we knew, they had just not come to a game night before, so that was really fun to have them over and get to show them the types of games that we play because they're definitely different than maybe the games that they play on a regular basis. The friend that I talked about who's pregnant with her second kiddo, they had a gender reveal for their new baby. I won't say anything on here about that, but they did have that, and we celebrated that with them recently. So very excited for baby number 2 to be here soon. And get to stitch a little something for that kiddo once I get the other one done. Which, don't worry, it's still on my list of things. And then next thing we'll be transitioning into what's happening this month. Oh, nope, I almost forgot something. We also had our first Sunday at our new church building this Sunday, which was awesome. So I go to a church that used to be called Mission Road Bible Church here in the Kansas City area. It's now called Emmanuel Bible Church because we are no longer located on Mission Road. So we renamed, and we had our first service at our new building, which was really cool. We needed to move because our old building did not have enough space for like teaching and children's ministry and that kind of stuff. But so we needed to move out of that building because there was really no way to expand onto that building in the area where we were. We were very much surrounded by a bunch of other stuff, and the parking situation was also terrible. So we moved to a different building that has ample space for education and parking, but now has a smaller auditorium. So that was interesting to see how that all worked out. It worked really well. I'm hopeful that we are able to build our new worship center soon. We just don't have the money for it right now, and they don't want to build that until we're financially ready to do that. So excited to see what that looks like, but it was a great Sunday, and I think the move is going to be ultimately what was best. And so while we are in a smaller auditorium for now, it's not the end. It's not we have plans to make a better space, so that'll be exciting, but it's definitely going to serve our body well until that point. Okay, now we can transition into things that are coming up later that haven't happened yet. So this upcoming weekend, so on Thursday, I'm going to be going back to my hometown of Columbia, Missouri, and going to the True False Film Festival that they host every year. It's been running for 20 plus years now. It is a documentary film festival, much like Sundance, where professional like documentary filmmakers submit and have their films shown over the course of 4 days, because it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. My mom and I have been going for multiple years now. It's kind of a tradition. And so this is going to be our last one for potentially a while, because next year she can't go because she's going to be on a cruise. And then the years after that, I'm not sure what my life's going to look like. So I might not be available. So we'll see. But yeah, so excited for this one. Potentially a last hurrah for a minute. We'll go back, I'm sure, once, depending on what life looks like in the future. But for now, this might be the last one. But for a little bit. Yeah, so super excited for that. We've got our films all picked out. We get a pass that allows us to see 10 films. So we have those reserved. We may buy some tickets for some other ones. We just haven't talked about it yet. So that's coming up this weekend. And then in 3 weeks, I am going to Stitch Fest up in Michigan. I'm driving up there with 2 of my friends from the Kansas City area, the Jessicas. And then we are meeting some other friends of ours up there who've been going to this retreat for a few years now. So excited to see them and excited to go to a retreat that I've never been to before. And I've been to Michigan, but so not a new state, but I've not been to this retreat. And from what I've heard, it sounds like it's a great retreat and it's a lot of fun. There's no like scheduled things as far as I know. Like there's no like events or classes or anything like that. But there are like raffles and giveaways and all that kind of stuff. And there'll be a shop and stuff that we can, because it's hosted by a local shop up there. But yeah, excited to see what this retreat has in store. And since we are going over the weekend of the first day of spring, I think I'm going to take a few different projects with me to start, including one of the Erin Elizabeth spring piece, and start a bunch of spring pieces while I'm up there. Because spring is my favorite season. And so I think I would like to start a few series, like seasonal series, but start with spring so I can do my favorite season and get that done and have that out and displayed once I FFO it. And then I'll add in the subsequent, what's the word? Seasons as I finish up spring. So I will talk to you more about those projects when I get back from that, or in my next video after I've already gotten them started, in case things change. But all right, I think that is everything, my friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video, liked what you saw. Hope you like and subscribe if you did like everything here. If you have any questions or just feedback, things you want to say, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I will get back to you as quickly as I can. And yeah, I just hope you have a great rest of your Sunday or whatever day that you're watching this. And like I say every time, I pray that your coffee is strong and your stitching is prolific. Bye, everybody.